David never imagined that the woman he built his whole life around would one day look him in the eyes and shatter his world with a single sentence. He and Sophia had been together for nearly 6 years, and in that time, he thought they had weathered every storm a couple could face. They had moved into a small apartment together, built routines, shared dreams, and even talked about marriage. David believed Sophia was not just his girlfriend, but his soulmate. That belief was the anchor of his existence, until one night changed everything. It was late, the kind of evening where silence fills the room more than words. David was sitting on the couch, scrolling aimlessly, when Sophia came over, sat beside him, and just stared. Her eyes didn't carry the warmth he was used to. They carried something colder, almost distant. Then she said it. "I like you, but I'm not in love with you." Those words didn't just hurt. They cracked something inside David that he didn't know could break. His mind froze. He couldn't process whether this was a breakup, a confession, or just a cruel test. "What do you mean?" he asked, his voice trembling. Sophia looked down, avoiding his eyes, and repeated slowly, "I care about you, I really do. But the love I used to feel, it's not there anymore." David sat in disbelief, his thoughts racing back to all the sacrifices he made. The late nights working overtime so he could afford their vacations, the times he canceled plans with friends because she wanted him home, the promises he kept when life got hard. Was all of that not enough? Sophia's tone wasn't angry or resentful. It was calm, almost detached. That made it worse. Because anger means there's still passion, still fire. But detachment? That's emptiness. And emptiness is final. That night, David didn't sleep. He replayed every moment of their relationship, searching for signs he might have missed. The way she started spending more time out with her coworkers. The way she suddenly guarded her phone, always turning it face down. The way she flinched slightly when he touched her lately. It all connected now, like puzzle pieces he had refused to put together. For David, it wasn't just about losing Sophia. It was about realizing he had already lost her a long time ago. And he was the only one who didn't see it. The next morning, David tried to act normal, as if last night's confession had been some strange dream. He made coffee, placed her favorite mug on the counter, and waited for Sophia to join him. But when she walked into the kitchen, her eyes gave him the same cold reminder. This was no dream. "Did you mean what you said?" he asked carefully, almost pleading for a different answer. Sophia didn't hesitate. "Yes, David. I can't keep pretending. You deserve someone who loves you the way you love me. And that's not me anymore." Her words struck him harder than any argument ever could. Because arguments can be fixed. Misunderstandings can be cleared. But what do you do when the love itself is gone? David tried to reason. He reminded her of their late-night drives, their laughter in the rain, the way she once told him she couldn't imagine a future without him. "People don't just fall out of love, Sophia. Not like this," he whispered. She looked at him then, finally meeting his eyes, and said something that would haunt him forever. "Sometimes they do." The days that followed were agonizing. David watched as Sophia became a stranger in their shared apartment. She stopped leaving her toothbrush in the bathroom. Her clothes began disappearing from the closet one by one. He noticed she no longer texted him during the day, no longer laughed at his jokes, no longer reached for his hand. Then came the final blow. One evening, David came home early from work, hoping to surprise her with dinner. But instead he found her sitting on the couch with another man, Michael, her co-worker. She didn't look guilty. She didn't even look surprised. She simply stood up and said, "David, this is Michael. I should have told you earlier." The room spun. David couldn't breathe. All the signs he had ignored came crashing down on him in that moment. Sophia wasn't just not in love with him anymore. She was already in love with someone else. What destroyed David wasn't her betrayal. It was the realization that she had already moved on while he was still fighting for them. He had been holding on to a ghost of their relationship, while she had been building something new behind his back. That night, David packed a small bag and left the apartment. Not because he wanted to, but because he knew staying there would kill him piece by piece. The weeks after leaving Sophia were some of the darkest David had ever known. His apartment felt empty, his routine meaningless. He scrolled through old photos of them, replayed memories in his head, and asked himself over and over, Was I not enough? But slowly, as the silence settled, something unexpected happened. David began to see the cracks that had always been there. How often he had been the one to compromise, to forgive, to adjust his dreams so hers could shine brighter. How often she had demanded more while offering less. For years, he had mistaken her need for attention as love. One evening, sitting alone with a notebook, he wrote a single sentence that shifted everything. Loving someone who doesn't love you back is not loyalty, it's self-destruction. That became his turning point. Instead of chasing Sophia's ghost, David focused on himself. He reconnected with old friends, poured energy into his photography, a passion he had abandoned because she never had patience for it. For the first time in years, he felt free. Meanwhile, news about Sophia reached him through mutual acquaintances. Her relationship with Michael didn't blossom as she had imagined. The spark burned out quickly, replaced by arguments and jealousy. People whispered about how she looked restless, unsatisfied. David felt no joy in her downfall, only clarity. She hadn't left him because he was unworthy. She had left because she was always chasing something she couldn't even define. Months later, David ran into Sophia by chance at a cafe. She looked tired, her confidence dimmed. When their eyes met, there was a flicker of regret in hers. "David, I made a mistake," she said softly. For a moment, the old ache returned. But then David remembered the sleepless nights, the betrayal, the way she had looked at Michael, the way she never looked at him. He smiled politely and replied, "We both did. But mistakes teach us who we are meant to be." Then he walked away, not with bitterness, but with peace. For the first time, David realized love should never be begged for, never forced, never one-sided. Sophia had taught him a painful lesson, but also the most valuable one. When someone looks into your eyes and says, "I like you, but I'm not in love with you," you don't lose them. You find yourself.